What's going on, Conscious Crew? Your favorite breakdown commentator. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into, girl, because it's going down and not in the DMs. Before we get into it, I need you guys to go ahead and thumb up the video until it's absolutely stuck. Whether you are a Bush baby, part of the Replay Gang, or you're active in these YouTube streets with me in real time, I need you to thumbs up the video. Thumbing up is one of the most important things you can do here on the platform, for it triggers up the notification systems as well as boost the algorithm. So if you can use those fingers to click on the video and then use those fingers to write a comment in the chat, you can definitely use those same fingers to thumbs up the video. We need all of that, girl. Teamwork makes the dream work. Also, shout out to all the new subbies. We are all-purpose platform. We do political commentary. We roast, we gag, celebrity, hot topics, the whole nine, spirituality, baby. You will get your entire life. Also, make sure that you have your notification bell set to all so that you never miss a day or hour when the king gives in fact kinging. And last but not least, please share the stream out to wherever it is you have digital community, whether that be your YouTube community wall, your Insta story, your Instagram, your Snapchat, your MySpace, your Facebook, the dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you in fact lay the lane. Just let them whores know that we're live, and we're certainly in color. And last but not least, make sure that you guys donate to the platform, $ Consciouztv, Cash App, or paypal.me/Consciouztv. And with no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? Happy Tuesday. We are back. You guys know we just got off of a live stream giving you guys some updates on everything Jay-Z, P. Diddy, Tony Busby, attorney Alex Spiro, sorry trifling ass, and everything he got going on with T.I., Tiny, and their accuser Sabrina Peterson. So if you missed that live stream, girl, make sure that you guys get into the playback. We are here to get into continuity regarding a story that we broke last night because Funky Dineva decided to get a few things off his chest to two of his previous female besties who also happen to be bloggers, no other than Michelle Vaginosis Brown and Tasha K. All right, now, as context, we always got to do context, girl. Okay. Make sure you guys run those likes up until they're absolutely stuck. Hold on, let me get up in this. All right. So last night, you guys know that Funky Dineva went live on his platform, and he was covering a segment regarding one of his good friends, Quad from Married to Medicine, and I guess a new castmate, Vanessa. And there's been like a tiff and a beef, and there are some supporters and viewers of the Married to Medicine show who believe that Quad is jealous of Vanessa. So that created an opportunity for Funky Dineva to advocate on behalf of Quad. And some of the anti-Quad squad members in the chat were doing everything from slamming Quad's looks, saying that she's average at best and that she's jealous of Vanessa. And of course, Funky Dineva was postured to say that's not true. Y'all not gonna act like my bitch not a 10, and that she doesn't give it up to the girls, and she don't have anything to be jealous of Vanessa about, etc., girl. And it was a lot of contention between Funky and the Funky Bunch as it relates to Quad. This eventually led to someone bringing up Michelle Vaginosis Brown and basically stating that she's also had some choice criticisms for Quad, and that allegedly Michelle Vaginosis Brown is responsible for issuing the narrative out to the public that Quad is driving around in a illegal vehicle, in a stolen vehicle, child. So this was the catalyst of Funky Dineva launching off into a now 8-year, 10-year beef with him and Michelle, who used to be Good Judy's. They were a petty duo together. They've been sued together. They have violated trespassing on people's properties together. They've been maniacs together, okay? And their falling out was just as legendary and iconic as the messiness of their actual relationship, because you lose them, how the hell you get them, okay? And this resulted in Michelle having to sue Funky Dineva because she leased out an apartment to him at a time where he had no place to go. He was homeless. She had a condo, I believe, and he got behind on rent. He was behind on money. She eventually had to forcibly evict him, and upon evicting him, she learned that the washer and dryer in her property had also magically disappeared, and that her place had been trashed, and she filmed the damages to the property and alleged that there was dog poop all meshed into the carpet and the walls. Funky Dineva claimed it was no more than puppy chow. And as a result of him not being interested in paying his delinquent debt back to Michelle, she also had to sue him civilly, and that began the garnishment process for his wages to pay back a $6,000 judgment, I believe, against him for back due rent and property to the place, child. All right, it's been a whole hot mess, girl. And Michelle has taken opportunity she could over the past 8 years, having whole playlists and compilations on her platform, dragging Funky Dineva anytime he ended up in controversy, which has also led to Funky Dineva responding here and there to Michelle. One notably time when him and Tasha K were good friends, and Tasha K invited him onto the platform to commence to a 45-minute iconic dragging of Michelle and everything that's between her legs, okay? So it's been a long-standing beef. Now, when this happened last night, you guys know that we went live. We had a town hall meeting about it, girl. It got very ghetto, very rough. Y'all know how we do, girl. We turn up on the platform, girl. Y'all know I allow free speech, girl. I am a believer in the First Amendment. You know, I just be wanting us to have some, you know, give each other the opportunity to talk, you know, but you can turn up, you know. We the turned up crew over here. And it was a lot of perspectives. It was a lot of interesting thoughts around Funky Dineva threatening to slap the fuck out of Tasha K and her undocumented immigrant husband, Shek. And, you know, all of the things. Now, while we were live at some point, Michelle Vaginosis Brown also went live. Now, she did take a few subliminal shots at me, you know, called me that man over there in the wig. And to be honest, you know, I've already dragged the protons and neurons out of Michelle's body. And given all alleged facts that everybody has reported that she stinks like a rotting polar bear, from Funky Dineva to allegedly Nene Leakes to allegedly Oliver Twist to the fashion designer Dave Chappelle, to even apparently other YouTubers who met Michelle at YouTube Black, who reported that she stunk like a skunk. I don't even feel more so the need to clap back at her, because I feel like her pussy is already dragging her. You know, and I know T.S. Madison has also said that Michelle's pussy odor is responsible for Georgia's air pollution as well. So, you know, when you have someone having to live alongside a curse that has no cure to it, there's no remedy, girl. Not even padding your panties with baby powder, not even the best essential oils can mask the ugliness that is within and outwardly of Michelle. I mean, how much more can I really say? You know, as far as I'm concerned now, I consider Michelle handicapped, you know, and that just rests my case. Now, I'm going to let you guys listen a little bit to what Funky Dineva brought to the table last night. And then we're going to get into what Michelle Vaginosis Brown said in response to Funky last night. Because, of course, Tasha K joined the live and they had some talking points regarding Funky's threats and dragging of them. So we'll get into all of that. But here's a little bit of Funky. Of course, this is covered by fair use. And yeah, I'm going to give you guys further context. Let me get my fair use banner, etc. Thumbs up, you guys.
I normally don't bring this type of crap up. They say Michelle Brown started the mess with the stolen car. A little bit of context. When me and Michelle Brown fell out, and that was around the time, me and Quad had already been friends. Michelle Brown is quoted running into Quad somewhere and telling Quad, "Oh, you playing for the wrong team," meaning she was my friend. And from that moment on, Michelle sank her teeth into Quad, and she go over there and post lies and inflammatory stuff over there about her, the same way she do about me, the same way she do about Claudia, the same way she do about Candy, okay? And y'all eat it up. And I'm going to tell y'all something, and I normally don't talk about Michelle Brown on my platform because I really don't care about Michelle Brown. I really don't. Michelle Brown, and she's going to take this moment and turn it into 1,400 podcasts and 1,400 YouTube videos and have at it. The reality of the situation is, while Michelle Brown is sitting over there running her mouth about me constantly, here is the 100% unadulterated truth, okay? The unadulterated truth is that Michelle Brown is sick in her head and she needs to be examined by a doctor. I have lived in Miami for 7 years, okay? I lived in Miami for 7 years. On top of the 7 years, me and Michelle Brown fell out 3 to 4 years before I even moved to Miami. That is 10 years. It's been a decade without me and Michelle Brown having any sort of contact, communication, whatever. And she still find it her business to sit up on her YouTube channel day in and day out and make it about me. If you go on that girl's YouTube channel right now and search Funky Dineva, 80% of her videos will be about me. So with that being said, who's winning? I won. I've been won. A decade in, and you still find it in your soul to be upset or throw shade or whatever it is you call yourself doing after a decade of somebody not paying you any attention, a decade, and you're still going. Have at it.
Okay, so let's pause it right there. You guys can catch his full live stream. But let's just talk a little bit about what he just said there. It's been a decade. And y'all already know I am everybody's accountability partner. I am the king of emotional intelligence and raising everybody's vibration and state of consciousness. So I don't always kind of lean into surface narratives. I get my shovel out and start digging up the rooty tooty and looking at the unspoken, unconscious aspects of what's going on. I, don't care for Michelle Vaginosis Brown because I feel like she's a meddler. I think her jumping into T.S. Madison and Kaya's beef was just really attention seeking at best. And, the loudness of the clout chasing was very loud, almost as loud as what they are alleging, comes out of her pores. And to only have ended up by Kaya, who she was advocating for, who also called her stinker than scrimp girl, called her the equivalent of Captain D's. It's just sheer embarrassing and humiliating, girl. And Michelle is a very cringy individual to me. I find almost everything about her to be cringy and corny and just really goofy. So she's just not my cup of tea. However, fair is fair. And what I want to say here is that I feel like Funky Dineva is misrepresenting and mischaracterizing Michelle's plight. 10 years of you not paying her no dust. That's your antidote for what you believe is happening here in terms of why she's on your neck. I find it inconceivable that Funky Dineva can really believe that Michelle is gaslit by being ignored, more so than she is gaslit by the fact that someone she trusted, someone that she shared restraining orders with, someone she shared lawsuits with, someone that she rented out to and called her friend, betrayed her in the ways that she alleges she was betrayed, from Funky Dineva stealing her credit card numbers out of her purse to go binge on crack and cocaine, according to her, to him seemingly not even paying his rent nor utilities and then trashing her place. And even in the aftermath of the breakdown of their relationship, he went on to do Sister Circle. He went on to be a hiree at Fox Soul and refused to give this woman what she objectively owed, to the point that upon the betrayal, she had to then initiate a lawsuit, take time and money out of her life to go run behind him for what was owed to her, only for him then still to try to evade accountability. I don't even think that Funky Dineva mitigated the case. She got a default judgment. And then he refused to pay the judgment, so then she had to go back to court and put money and time into that to garnish his coin. Now, according to Michelle, Funky even tried to avoid garnishment because he tried to put his Google AdSense check, which is connected to his YouTube channel, in another friend's name of his. And then, according to line as Tasha K, and you guys can take this at face value because Tasha is a liar, but this is what Tasha said. She said that when Michelle began the garnishment process, he called her to advise him on how to evade garnishment. So I'm like, if those things are true, which we do know that her place was trash, we do know that Michelle got a default judgment for the damages and back due rent, and we do know that she had to garnish his accounts. But if he, in fact, also evaded her every which way, I'm sorry, Funky, you don't get to reduce the plight of Michelle to just her being a bitter ex-baby mama friend who is just upset that you're paying her dust. No, she's upset that you Judas the fuck out of her. She's upset that you didn't have enough humanity, virtue, nor was man enough to, if you were going to be done with the friendship, at the very least, show gratitude and show retribution to the rent situation and the missing washer and dryer situation and run her a fucking check, especially since you went on to make more than enough money to have cut her that check or paid her in installments until that debt was overcame, because she did something for you that she didn't have to do. And to make it worse, she did it out of love. So there's an emotional injury there, but there's also an objective debt that is left there as well. So when you go to speak about this, I want to find a bush and weep for you, because what you really are giving us insight into is into the narcissism of your psychology and the fact that you are so dense as a human being. You're so undeveloped and neurologically oriented for pure bona fide selfishness that you can look back on how you did this woman and literally still have no conviction, and then gaslight her into believing that she's the fucking villain for continuing to hold you fucking accountable for what you did. And never see your redeeming quality in this whole thing would have been when you got on your feet. Once again, you working out that payment plan to homegirl. You never did that. Even when you sat on Fox Soul for 2 years and bragged about making 6 figures and how y'all making more money than you've ever made in your life, and y'all over there cutting up 6-figure checks. And now, once again, I don't fuck with Michelle, but I'm an equal opportunity ass bitch, and everybody can get their wig tugged on, and I can separate the truth from my personal feelings about folk and advocate on what I personally believe is right and wrong in a situation. And this is a prime example of that. I don't have the ability to be a fan of anybody, which allows me to be able to be honest about everybody. So everybody can get that work. And you dead ass wrong, bruh. You out of order, you're wrong, and you're delusional as fuck. You're delusional. Talented, inspirational as it relates to what you've been able to do and transmute, as it relates to going from social media into mainstream everything, and also immature, delusional, and a dangerous person. You're dangerous socially. Dangerous. So, given all things, Michelle is entitled to her fucking feelings, because the reality is, even despite garnishing your money, she had to get retribution back by force. By force. So it still doesn't count as an apology. It still doesn't count as a reconciliation, because she had to run behind you to get her shit. She had to trail behind you to get her shit. She had to hunt you down and work to get her $6K back and back to rent and damages. That's out of fucking order. Now, moving from that, let's get into the Tasha K part, girl. Because today, we're commentating, bitch. Cash App, $ Consciouztv, PayPal.me/Consciouztv. I want everybody to be clear that I am, and I pride myself on being a fair commentator. I know how to allow somebody to personally not be my cup of tea, but also stand in the gap for them where I see it as right or wrong at. So this is not an echo chamber platform. And as I always say, even my faves can get dragged to hell over here. Your faves can get dragged to hell over here, as well as everybody can get their roses, including the niggas and bitches I don't care for, and including the niggas and bitches that you don't care for. So sometimes people you don't like, they're going to get their roses. Sometimes people I don't like, girl, they're going to get advocacy, girl. And sometimes the people that we love are going to get hung up on that motherfucking cross accordingly, girl. Okay? All righteousness and accountability is handed out accordingly. Accordingly, girl. This ain't no stand platform. This is not no fan platform. This is a commentating platform that's rooted in attempting to see things clearly, to have the facts in order, and to call things down the middle without identity politics playing into the mess, which means that even my gay male peers can get dragged to hell. My trans peers can get dragged to hell. Black men can get dragged to hell. Black women can get dragged to hell. We don't practice identity politics over her. Identity politics do not transcend right and wrong. Right and wrong over here transcends identity politics. So everybody's head needs to be on a motherfucking swivel. Let's get to Tasha K. This was another explosive point of Dineva's talking points. Shout out to the 800 folk. Moderators, please encourage everybody to like. We need all of that. We need all of that.
Bitches. The next time I see you, I am going to slap the shit out of you for playing with me. So don't even fix yourself to try to speak, to try to be polite. I'm going to slap you, and then I'm going to stand back and look at your fuck-ass husband. And I don't want nobody to be like, he bullying her and that's a woman, because I'm calling your husband ass to the motherfucking carpet too. I want to whoop his ass because of you.
All right, he paying them bills, and we paying them too, child. Thumbs up, share, y'all. And I will be dropping the link.
Husband, to this day, y'all could give me a Quick Trip address, and I'll roll up to the Quick Trip and whoop his ass on the strength of you. I want to fight your husband on the strength of you. And that's just where I'm at with it. At 41 years old, I'm tired of y'all bitches bothering me. I don't bother nobody on this internet. I come, do my stories, I check out, and I go home. Y'all jealous bitches sit up and bother me. Tasha K, we've been good since Spoon's wedding. Somehow or another, you got a wild hair up your ass and decided, let me pick shit with Funky Dineva. And why? When people can't access you physically, they will try to access your emotions. And what's the point of all of it? Both of y'all bitches feel like I've passed both of y'all by way too far. I've gotten too high. So what do you want to do? You want to bring me back down to this space.
Now, 2, 3, 4, 5 things can be true at the same time, girl. I do believe that there is some relevancy and some truth to that. One thing about Unhinged, Tasha K, is that I've noticed that she does have a particular envy for people who are reasonably more successful than her. We've seen her go in on T.S. Madison, who is profusely more successful than her. Matter of fact, let me just go ahead and say this. Any bitch who doesn't have another bitch 3.9 million Mexican pesos already has done better in life than Tasha K. Any bitch who don't owe another bitch 3.9 million Bitcoins already is doing better in life than Tasha K, girl. Okay, so this makes Tasha K inferior to every motherfucking body, okay? We've seen her ironically target some of her most successful so-called friends in the industry, from Funky Dineva, who was getting multiple checks at one time. The Google AdSense check. He was getting a Foxhole TGIF 6-figure check, girl, stacked on stack on stack, rack on rack on racks. We've seen her throw T.S. Madison under the bus out of the motherfucking nowhere. We know that T.S. Madison is on Beyonce records. She's been co-signed by the queen herself. She's all over Glee, RuPaul Drag Race. You know, she's a global phenomenon. She's dragged her and T.S. Madison's mother to hell and instigated issues there. Also, her relationship to Larry Reid is fascinating, because when she sat down with Levantre's mother in that interview, Surviving a Larry Reid, I made a distinct point to duly note the conversation that Tasha K had with Levantre's mother during their sit down, where there was this kind of 10-minute segment between them where they kind of salivated over Larry's perceived wealth and they was just talking about how he pretends to be rich and this, that, and the third when he's really broke. Tasha K was going in about how Larry rents everything. And I thought it was so odd for her to sit in an interview with the mother who's attempting to represent a man who's alleging sexual abuse. And yet there's a petty ass conversation around Larry's lifestyle and tax bracket and them just attempting to poke holes and mock and poke fun at that. So I definitely believe there is a reality to Tasha K's envy. And her jealousy of her peers, and ironically, a lot of them have been more successful in every which way than she is.
And trust and believe, y'all, I already regret doing this. I already regret it. I already regret it because they both are so satisfied right now.
And so are you with that smile on your face. Here's another thing I want to make clear. I do not support and stand in agreement with Funky Dineva making a physical threat to harm Tasha K. As much as I don't like that bald-headed slave cotton picking field running barefoot gutter snipe from right up out of the hood, I am not going to ever think it's appropriate for someone to be physically harmed over words. Now, if you are being physically threatened, you have a right to physically threat back. If someone is stalking you, if somebody's trying to injure you in some objective way, I can understand then the call for mutual combat. You know, somebody really trying to harass and aggravate your life. But simply being teased on the internet, something that Funky Dineva does. Funky Dineva does the same thing that Tasha K does. He does the same thing that Michelle Brown does, which is he commentates. He easily can end up in a situation. Matter of fact, remember when Jocelyn wanted to whip his ass? Remember when him and Jocelyn had that falling out on the after show of Love and Hip Hop, and she threatened to put the undocumented goons on his motherfucking ass? She told him to keep his head on a swivel, girl, and to watch his bike out there in the streets because she wasn't going to let him play with her. If Funky Dineva would have got hurt over simply dragging her, it would not have been constitutional, it would not have been fair, and it would not have been right. So just like I'm going to tell Jocelyn to grow the fuck up, bitch, especially as a bitch who now puts her hands on every woman within a 1 mile radius of her, I'm going to tell Funky Dineva to grow the fuck up. This is what y'all all do on the internet, and all of y'all skin should be thicker and tougher than this, to be honest. For all of y'all to be as seasoned as y'all is, girl, it's mighty interesting to me that none of y'all can really take being hot topics. None of y'all can really take being on the receiving end of the shorter end of that stick that y'all put every other public figure and celebrity on. And what's good for the goose is indeed good for the motherfucking gander. So when it's your turn, just hold your head high. When it's your turn, be just as strong, baby, as Beyonce had to be, as Jay-Z had to be, as Diddy has to be, as Nene Leakes has to be, girl, as everybody under the sun has to be, girl. Just be strong. Be strong. You do not get to put your hands on someone simply for being fake. What you do have a right to do is maintain your goddamn boundaries. Keep a bitch out your space. And let a motherfucker know that if they continue to see you in public and come up to you and touch you and try to speak to you, that you will employ the courts, girl, to regulate up in this motherfucker, to shang it up in here. But what you don't have a right to do is to put your hands on some goddamn body. And I hate this for Funky Dineva because regardless of whether Tasha is scared or not, and regardless of whether he means it or not, it just doesn't fucking look good in this day and age of Black women who are experiencing high Black femicide rates for a black man of his caliber with his level of platform to be so willy-nilly and comfortable in perpetuating threats of physical violence to a black woman, especially over non-violent issues. So now, it makes it impossible to really defend Funky against those narratives of he hates black women, even though, to be fair, yes, these particular black women are women that are being antagonistic, quote unquote. They are seeking to bully and antagonize him. However, they're only employing the same measure of weapon that Funky does on the internet, which is the fucking internet. Which is the internet. That's it. That's all. The internet. A lot of people haven't appreciated what Funky has said. Funky's mouth have gotten him into much trouble. Funky Dineva has gotten damn TGIF suspended for a damn week because of his commentary on Chloe Bailey. I mean, lots of people have found his commentary unbecoming. Would it be right for anybody to want to whip his motherfucking ass over offending them? Over using his platform to publicly humiliate them? No. So I don't give a fuck how fake and two-faced and rotten to the core Tasha K is. Until she becomes a physical threat, I don't want to hear a physical threat being made to her or any motherfucking woman. Matter of fact, I just don't want to hear nobody making no goddamn physical threats to any goddamn body, regardless of gender, over no non-violent issues. Thicken up and grow the fuck up. Now, let's get into what prompted, because there's another layer of what prompted Dineva to go at Tasha K. He was going at Michelle over putting out an alleged fake narrative that Quad is driving around in a stolen car. Then he allegedly was going at Tasha K because, unbeknownst to us, Tasha K and Funky Dineva have ran into each other in person. They've been at the same weddings. They've been at the same Red Lobsters. And she's attempted to play nice with him, to wave the white flag. And at some point, they agreed to keep it cordial publicly. This was then retracted when Funky posted a screenshot of himself on the toilet taking a crap. And Tasha K decided to comment that his baseboards look stank. Okay? Here's that image, girl. That led to Dineva, being inflamed, girl. Okay? Tasha K said that the baseboards look doodle stained, discolored, etc., girl, that there were all type of dirt and fecal matter engraved into the concretes of the wall, that because the toilet is so close to the baseboards that when he flushed, the residuals of the diarrhea splash onto the surrounding space, girl. And Funky Dineva was like, no, girl, this is the natural coloring of my baseboard, child. And the dragging of the baseboards in the bathroom just represented that once again, Tasha K could not be trusted and had went back on her precious word to keep things cute. And that then led to Funky Dineva wanting to issue a threat to assault her and her immigrant undocumented ass husband. Okay? Now, Michelle Brown went live last night. And she, tried her best to act unbothered. As a bitch with an all-seeing eye, and as a bitch who is a super empath, and as someone who can read between lines, it was clear to me that Michelle once again felt humiliated because the stankness of her vagina was once again headlining and trending. And of course, that has to be completely humiliating. And, she was trying her best to just move through the commentary, girl, to get it over with. But it was clear that Michelle was embarrassed. And she was trying her best to deflect and to keep her and her boho braids together, girl. But she was whimpering out. So she needed the help of Tasha K girl, who joined the platform, and they commenced to get into a commentary. Now, let me give you the key points from their conversation last night. Tasha K said to Michelle that Funky had never texted her. Because remember, Funky said after the whole baseboard dragging on the internet and Tasha K reposting it and all of that, that he went and texted her. She said that never happened, that he never confronted her. He doesn't even have her number, that's just a lie. That's what she said. Now, this is a liar claiming something didn't happen. So once again, take everything that Tasha K says at face value, baby. Okay. Tasha the kind of bitch, it's just gonna always need to be receipt time, girl. Because her word is no more good. As a result of a bitch who done been sued at a federal level, as a result of a bitch who done found in 100 different lies, even about other people outside of Cardi B, girl, Tasha no longer has equity on what comes out of her mouth because we are clear that she has no integrity. So this now forces Tasha to only be able to be vindicated when she absolutely goes out of her way to produce the hard facts. But anything coming out of her wide ass throat is to be taken at entertainment at best. I'm not sure about fact, okay? So once again, do what you will with that. Then, as I already said before, Tasha K claimed that when Michelle went to start the garnishing on his money for her back pay rent and her damages, that he called her to ask her how he could evade Michelle garnishing his coin. Michelle said that Funky was committed to avoiding garnishment, that he even tried to put his accents, as I said before, in another friend's name. Michelle also said that Funky lied about purchasing a home, okay? Now, remember, when Funky was on TGIF, he was in the process of getting a house and all of this and doing some renovations and blah, 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 blah. Well, Michelle, I don't even have it. So Michelle had played the video of the real estate agent who had posted Dineva at the house. And at that point, Funky Dineva did not, in fact, own the home because his opening statements were, I'm going to buy this house. But he already had his luggage, girl, in the back seat, ready to be rolled out and to find his closet space, child. And it was also very clear that upon him already, having his clothes and luggage ready to move in, that he had not even seen the property in detail prior to that. So, she recorded walking Funky Dineva through the property, showing him the backyard, showing him the fire pit, all of this. Well, Michelle also had further intel that the property had been listed as a rental and not as a property up for buying. She also said she had proof online. She claims to have rental listings and saw from the rental listings of the property that Funky Dineva doesn't pay a mortgage. He pays a rent, and he pays a rent of $4,700 a month. And he had to put down a first and last, okay? That he does not own the home that he claimed he purchased. It was a rental, etc. Blah, 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 blah. Tasha K admitted that she took it upon herself, because remember, Funky was going through the whole diatribe of him running into her on 2 different occasions, one at the Bojangles and then at this person's wedding. Tasha tried to say that the context was she didn't want the tension to be thick between him and her, in these public settings. So she did take it upon herself to kiss his ass and to try to appeal to his ego, so that, when they see each other and have to be in the same place, because she claims they also have a shared friendship group, but that she's closer to the friends in that group than he even is. So, you know, she did try to initiate some kindness and establish, you know, some waving of the white flag. Now, her perspective of what happened at the Bojangles girl when he rolled in there and she chose to go down there and speak to him for the first time since, you know, their massive falling out on the internet. She said when she came over to Funky Dineva, she was using her inside voice, her library voice. And Funky Dineva got irate. She was like, Funky, we can be cool. She said he was yelling, I don't want to be cool. And she was saying, Funky, you know, you don't really know me like that to be mad. He was like, I don't want to know you. And you know that he was just carrying on. And shout out to Funky Dineva because I got to give Funky credit now. Oh, hold on. This is the wrong picture, bitch. We're going to get to that picture. I give Funky Dineva credit for trying to stand to his boundaries. At least at first, okay? Because this was the first time they had ran each other since they had fallen out online, they dragged each other, confronted each other on the internet, called it off, okay? So, he tried to maintain it and hold it together by telling her to get the fuck away from him, stay the fuck away from me, I ain't checking for you. Shout out to the 1K in the chat, Gloria. Shout out to the 1K in the chat. Subscribe if you're new here. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. We need all of that, you guys. Please get the likes up. I'm working for you all, okay? But by the time he ran into her at this acquaintance's wedding, his defenses were down. Okay? Him and Tasha K basically at the wedding made a agreement to just keep it cordial, not be friends. We'll keep it cordial. Ain't gotta be no smoke. You stay on your side, I stay on my side. We can reasonably, you know, be amicable. We're in a shared space, etc., girl. So this is why he felt so gaslit when she shaded his baseboards. And so I still stand on my square that had Funky maintained his boundaries, maintained, you know, his posture that I don't fuck with you, stay the fuck away from me, you a snake ass bitch. He would have never been gaslit to the degree in which he was gaslit by her betrayal. She was only able to betray him again because he had let his guard down. The reason why letting his guard down was so preposterous to begin with, the reason him even entertaining her was so absurd and ridiculous to begin with. Hold on, y'all. Let me find something. I don't know why is my thing? Hold on, y'all. Oh, hold on. I need to find something real quick. The reason why this is so preposterous, y'all, get these likes up, get these likes up, get these likes up, is because just a year ago, Funky had said this about Tasha K just a year ago. Check this out here.
Want to be a part of your circus, Tasha. I simply don't want to be a part of your circus, Tasha. But I would appreciate it if you just stay in your corner and I just stay in mine. Because you've shown me time and time again, Tasha, there's no other way to politely put this, that you can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what is colleague conversation, what is friend conversation, and what's going to be for the blogs. I don't know about you, but me and my friends don't roll this way. I really don't want to be a part of your circus, Tasha, but I would appreciate it if you just stay in your corner and I just stay in mine. Because you've shown me time and time again, Tasha, there's no other way to politely put this, that you can't be trusted. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know what is.
So the fact that he had already known she was a snake, she can't be trusted, she plays whole games, and on top of that, since him calling off the friendship a year ago and calling her to the carpet, she also has came to the internet to establish that she is nobody's friend, that she should not be trusted, and that she's going to assume that if you continue to deal with her, despite her asserting the fact that she's nobody's friend and that she cannot be trusted, that you're okay with her exploiting you. You're okay with her selling you out. So it was absurd a year later for Funky to have been aware she's untrustworthy and then still eventually only entertain her and wave a white flag with her and to make another deal with the fucking devil. After he had already had all his own personal experiences, after he had also saw how she had did everybody else, and on top of the fact that she now was owning the villain arc. She was now owning the villain identity. So why the fuck even shake hands with this bitch again? Why even make up with this hoe again on any level instead of maintaining, I don't fuck with you? And if you continue to fuck with me in person, I'm going to have the courts fuck with you to get you up off me, bitch, because I don't want to talk to you. I'm not consenting to speaking with you. And you are going to respect not speaking to me when you see me and not touching me and putting your hands on me, even if it's out of endearment. I do not consent to you personally contacting me. So, bitch, if you speak to me again, put your hands around me again, put your hands on my thigh muscle again, bitch, I will be running that protective order all the way up. Stay the fuck away from me. But because he didn't do that, he folded like a picnic chair, baby. She was able to get in and to take another bite out of his ass. And now he embarrassed and mad and deflecting onto her when all she's doing is being a zebra with stripes. All she's doing is being a snake with fangs. His job was to believe the bitch after he showed her who she was. His burden was to believe her. Believe her. And because he didn't believe her, she was able to use his ass for a motherfucking moment because he's weak. Now, why he's weak is a whole different psychoanalyst. We kind of touched on that a little bit yesterday. I chop all these hoes up from Michelle Vaginosis Brown to Tasha K to Funky Dineva. If you listen to all of their origin stories, girl, they all are traumatized adult. They all are traumatized children cosplaying as adults. A lot of these social media relationships and parasocial relationships are the result of trauma bond and shallowness. And I'll get a little bit further into that in a minute. So Funky Dineva had no business even making another deal with the goddamn devil, as far as I am concerned. Okay? Now, Tasha K talked about how, Funky could be so much bigger than he is. He's stifled. He's stuck. He's a nobody. He don't make no money. I don't think a bitch with all the money issues that Tasha got with the IRS, to her bankruptcy trustees, to with Cardi B girl who had to sell her dream home and then had to sell her son into chattel slavery, girl, has any business talking about another bitch's finances. Girl, you have a DEI attitude about finances you clearly have not mastered and are not qualified to unpack, to explain, to teach, etc., girl. Can't nobody take no motherfucking financial advice from a bitch who is a indentured servant cosplaying as a social media influencer, girl. Because Cardi B got you working, bitch, on the field for the next 5 years, ho. Like, the rest of us can choose to work while you have to, bitch. That's the big difference between me and you, bitch. You got to. And so that's interesting. But I also want to say this. Y'all need to stop projecting on the motherfucking people, because a lot of times people be happy just with where they are. Funky Dineva might be complacent and might be comfortable, girl, in what he does for a living. Just because you have dreams, Tasha K, of being validated by the industry, have dreams of being at a Beyonce level, have dreams of colonizing all of the entertainment space, doesn't mean that that's everybody's ambition, girl. This is why some people can live in their one-bedroom apartment for the rest of their lives. They never have to own a home. Some people are okay, girl, and very comfortable and fulfilled with their Honda Civic. They never have to drive a BMW or a Mercedes-Benz in their life, bitch. Some people are very comfortable, girl, with an average wage to pay their average bills and are okay with an average lifestyle. Not everybody wants to fucking ascend to the highest star. Not everybody wants to make all the fucking money in the world. Not everybody wants to live as glamorous as glamour can be, girl. People work toward what is their highest art for themselves, their higher standard for themselves. Their standard ain't your motherfucking standard, bitch. If you need the Coach bags, if you need to shop at the Gucci outlets, that's for you, sis. Somebody else is good with Goodwill. Somebody else is good at Fashion Nova and City Trends, girl. So, just because people are not attempting to obtain the things you think they should be, doesn't necessarily also mean that they're failing or that they are holding themselves back, because sometimes people are exactly where the fuck they want to be in fucking life. How about that? Now, just like we see that you aspire to owe another bitch $4 million off of your dinner plate. We see that you aspired, girl, to want to owe $4 million, girl, to another bitch and take that from your children's mouth, girl. A lot of us would not have wanted that for you, but that's clearly what you wanted for yourself. And so it be. She also said that she made another kind of like HIV dig, claiming that, you know, she not scared of Funky, and that he not gonna touch her, he not gonna get close to her, and that he would need to open up his My Chart before he puts his hands on her. So this was another dig at Funky's health and her implying that he may be filled with disease and pestilence. Okay? Also, Trasher said that Funky has to accept that he's still going to be talked about even if he's cool with other bloggers. I find it interesting that Tasha K can be such a like explicit hypocrite. The same woman that is telling Funky that, hey, because now she's trying to woman-splain her hypocrisy after she's waved the white flag by saying that, well, we can have both things. We can be cordial and amicable, and I should also still be able to drag you and to make you a part of my docket because you are a public figure. That's interesting because she didn't keep that same energy when T.S. Madison had allowed a guest on her show on Fox Soul to speak about Trasha slandering Cardi B. And then Trasha used T.S. Madison, someone she considered a friend at the time, allowing someone else to pretty much call her out for getting herself into a lawsuit and for also inflicting unnecessary emotional distress onto Cardi as her catalyst to then feud with T.S. Madison. But no, bitch, keep that same energy. Because if it's true that we can be peers and we can be amicable, but that does not provide any immunity, then it's interesting that you got mad at T.S. Madison for the same fucking reasons that Funky Dineva is upset with you now. You also fell out with Larry Reid after he also had given his commentary on the lawsuit between you and Cardi. And then you used him giving his commentary on you and Cardi as a catalyst to start picking and prying at him publicly. So it's just the sheer hypocrisy for me. Also, she fell out with Claudia Jordan and then tried to justify why she did that because over on TGIF, they would always cover her lawsuit. But excuse me, bitch, you're the same one who told Larry that you were willing to have this fight with Cardi B socially and civilly because it would raise your social profile. And then yet, everybody who spoke about you, because what you did, in fact, did that, it thrusted you into the headlines. It thrusted you into the algorithm because one of the biggest superstars of our time at that time was giving you attention. You got mad and angry and inflamed for people playing into the circus you brought to fucking town. You are just a sheer, bona fide, bald-headed ass hypocrite. You do not even play by your own fucking rules. You move the fucking goalpost like all fucking narcissists do so that you can always justify what you do, but then hold everybody else to task about what they do. Now to the meat and the potatoes, girl. But before we get there, let me explain these pictures. So Michelle also had brought up, because she was responding to Funky claiming that this was puppy child and not dog feces that he left in Michelle's place. Michelle found that to be ironic because his dogs, even today, are still taking a big shit on his $5,000 sofa. And here is Exhibit A, girl. Funky posting to his Instagram with dog shit on his sofa and captioning it as, "On my $5,000 Gabby sofa. Walks in kitchen to get cleaning supplies and finds more booty juice on the family room sofa. All this is Donald Trump's fault." Well, there you have it. So puppy child or dog shit, girl. Okay, all the dogs are still shitting up the place, allegedly, girl. Now, also, Michelle was calling her and Dineva both equal in stankness by providing a still shot, once again, extracted from his Instagram, girl, of him, I guess, initially thinking it was a key to show the dogs had chewed up paper and toilet paper all over his bed. But ironically, the room was in disarray. So Michelle was like, well, no, we both are stank. You know, you're saying that I'm stank and I'm funky, etc., girl, but you funky as well. You got doodle stains on your bathroom baseboards, girl. Your house is dingy. You don't fold your clothes, girl. You don't even organize the clean ones, girl. Everything is on the floor, as you guys can see, girl. She also claimed that there was crack on the bedroom nightstand and cigarette butts and cocaine and crystal meth just hanging all out of the blinds and everything, girl. Okay, all of that, girl. Now, where shit got interesting at is toward the end, where Michelle said that if Funky Dineva would apologize and take accountability for what he did to her property, that this all could go away. That she's willing to also wave the white flag. She's willing to let bygones be bygones if he would just publicly take responsibility for what he did to her shit. I'm going to create a poll. Let me see here. Should Dineva, and y'all, please get these likes up, child. Please get these likes up, child. It's 1,100 of y'all in the chat, and we got only 400 likes, baby. Let's run these likes up, okay? Should Dineva and Michelle make up? I just created a poll. How many of y'all want to see Michelle and Dineva make up in any kind of a way? If you agree that they should make up on any level, just vote. It don't matter if you believe, even if you believe they should just apologize to each other and just, keep it moving and stop the online shenanigans. Or if you believe they should go off into the sunset together and give you guys the original Tweedledum and Tweedledoo. Sound off on the poll in the chat, child. Okay, and as we're doing that, what I'm going to say is, I'm going to speak for me. I know we live in a day and time where people think that forgiveness is also synonymous with reconnection. That's not my attitude, bitch. Reconnection and forgiveness are two different things. You can forgive someone without ever reconnecting to their motherfucking ass. You can forgive someone without ever allowing them back into your space, back into your life. Matter of fact, forgiveness is very personal, and it's actually for you. And it's so personal that you don't even need an apology to forgive a bitch. You don't even need closure to forgive no motherfucking body. So, could someone have done all the things that Michelle and Funky have done to each other, be back in my space personally? Hell to the fuck no. Girl, we just gonna have to charge it to the game, bitch. Willing to forgive, willing to let bygones be bygones, but there will never be a spinning of the motherfucking block. You just not gonna be tearing me up like this, putting me in debt, bitch, fucking up my property, thinking you can bounce with accountability, and for Funky's part, nor bitch, am I going to allow you to be calling me a crackhead and a cokehead and doing the motherfucking most, girl, and putting all every type of allegation that you can, girl. To me, it got way too ugly. It got way too verbally abusive on both of their parts. Both of them showed how committed they could be to destroying each other as a result of their offenses toward each other. And I would never be able to unsee that. And it would also kill my desire to want to reconnect, because I know what the fuck is up in you. And I know what type of time you can be on. And I know now how far you'd be willing to go. So, no, there could be no reconciliation. But forgiveness, yes. A civil conversation, sure. Friendship again, brotherhood again, sisterhood again, hell to the fuck no, bitch. No to the no, to the no, 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 no. But I do think that they should make up. Not make up. I do think that they should apologize to each other. I do think that Funky Dineva owes Michelle an apology for what he did to her material possessions and what he put her through even after he left, because she had to continue to take money and time out of her life to seek him out for her financial retribution, which should not have happened in any dimension, where someone gets on their feet finally and is in a position to pay someone back for something that they did materially and financially for them. So he should make the formal apology, take accountability for wrecking her shit, leaving her home in the condition that it was left in, and also gaslighting her publicly by reducing her plight to just being someone who was rejected. Take responsibility for trying to evade even after the fact, even after he got on his feet, taking responsibility and paying her back and cleaning that up. Yes, he should absolutely do that. And if she has agreed, I can then let it go. Her ass should also be held accountable from that point, since that's the agreement. The agreement, if fulfilled, means that she absolutely would have to shut the fuck up, because that's what she chose to agree to, is finally shutting the fuck up. Letting it go. You already got your money back, and if he gives her an apology, you now got your apology. And you said in place, your ass is willing to finally dead the shit, and y'all can be alright. The war can finally come to a motherfucking end, baby. There can finally be some peace in the goddamn Middle East. Funky should apologize. Absolutely. He gaslighted this fucking woman, essentially stole it from her, and evaded responsibility until she forced garnishment. That's the only reason she got paid back. It wasn't because he found it in his heart, girl, to leave a check in her mailbox. It wasn't because he found it in his heart, girl, to reimburse her willfully. No. That woman had to go for his neck, girl, and force the course to force his motherfucking ass to get with the times. That's fucked up, and I don't give a damn how much you don't like Michelle. What he did as it relates to that situation is fucking wrong. And if you don't think that it is, bitch, go to hell. That's simple. If you don't think that what he did to Michelle and her property is as wrong as all outside, go to hell. And you're wrong. And you're just as delusional as he is. Just as delusional. And if you don't under a Christian nation, girl, in God we trust, girl, world, that a human being should, by virtue, take responsibility for their behavior and actions, go to hell. Go to hell. Go to hell. Because you're also a part of the problem. Now, I'm going to drop the link. We only got, I'm going to give it to 1:30, girl. Y'all got 15 minutes to jump up here to say what y'all got to say. And then we are off with it, girl. Y'all got 15 minutes. I just dropped the link. Just drop the link. I just dropped the link. Make sure if you're new here, subscribe. Y'all run the lights up. If you got something to say, come up here and say it. Whatever your opinion and thoughts are, girl, you can sound off. When you come up here, it don't mean that you're going to be agreed with, but you do get to say it. Okay? Well, that's you, Adarius. You're not a Michelle. That's the big difference, baby. That's the big difference. Y'all got two different sets of chromosomes. You a whole male. She's a female. Okay? And if she wanted to blast her tenant, who also happened to be her friend, he put her in a position to do that. Would Michelle have done that if Funky wasn't who he was? No. But because he is who he is, she raised public concern. Like, look, bitch, you see this motherfucking coming? You better proceed with caution. You know, y'all the same people who tell people that you can't piss nobody off and tell them how mad to be and then tell them how mad to be. My whole attitude is, do not be a villain in somebody's story and then expect them to keep it cute with you in any way, shape, or form. If you're going to choose to be a villain in somebody else's story, then it becomes their story to tell, because that's a part of their history. And if she actually wants to get on her platform and talk about every goddamn tenant who's done wrong to her and done wrong by their contracts and agreements, she can. She can. There's nothing prohibiting her from doing so. That's totally up to her discretion. Some of the things that y'all call right or wrong are not actually right or wrong. They are a matter of preference. Some of the things that actually are a matter of preference, y'all want to put in a box of right or wrong. There's no right or wrong. It's just a matter of preference. Just like you could get out here and talk about your ex. You could talk about how they cheated on you, how they abuse you, or you could choose not to. That would be of your personal preference, and you would be within your right to do it in either direction, because it's your story to tell. It's your black eye to tell. It's your infidelity to tell, and it's yours not to tell. It wouldn't be a right and wrong. It's just a matter of preference. Let me go ahead and invite. Okay, I think I'm gonna do everybody one by one, actually. Hey, Queen, sound off, boo.
Hey, boo. I had so
Hi.
much fun on the panel last night.
Yes, baby, it was a key.
Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to come on and say I feel totally vindicated in what I was saying yesterday. I think pretty much we all had the same consensus yesterday. To hear Funky basically double down, I mean, point was proven. Like I said yesterday, Michelle has no interest in letting up off of Funky Dineva. It's never going to stop. So to your point, I don't think that even if they come to a point where they can be apologetic, it'll ever stop. They're just going to basically keep re-entering the same circle. It's never going to work.
So you don't believe that Michelle is sincere?
Absolutely not. Because if Michelle, but this is where I also have to hold Michelle accountable. If Michelle was interested in any type of vindication where she could say, you know what, I'm past this, I'm ready to move on, I'm ready to forgive you, because we do have to acknowledge, like you said, Michelle was the one who was done wrong. Yeah. That is a fact. I refuse to not acknowledge that. That's a fact. But when it comes to a point where she's at a, ready to be reciprocal of anything that he may have as far as a positive aspect on it, she's never going to do that. She sees Funky Dineva as a forever op. I've even heard her say this before. She's like, I don't see it for him. It could never be anything like that because the disrespect is too heavy. I'm not mad at her for saying it. It's an honest statement, but there's never any room to move forward. Funky is unfortunately going to have to deal with Michelle for life. I would be very surprised if they get to a point where they could say, you know what, I'm cool. Let's let it go. I would be very surprised.
Do you think that even if she doesn't, ever let it go, that he then should take responsibility publicly, or he also should just like, girl, you got your money? I mean, and it is what it is.
Well, yes, in that case, then I would be looking at Funky side-eyed because again, Funky has wronged Michelle. So if she's coming to you and she's saying, you know what, I want to forgive you, I'm genuine about this, let's drop everything, I will never mention you on my platform again, I'll never speak ill or negative of you, and Funky hears that and allows that space to be given the opportunity for that, and he doesn't take it, then I have to hold you accountable because you are not acknowledging that you have done wrong. This person is ready to move on. It's you that's not. But honestly, in this case, I have to kind of defend Funky. Funky, like I was telling y'all yesterday, has apologized to all these people. Yes, it may have been in a space where he was just saying it because he was so sick and tired of it. Like, you know what? I'm going to be the bigger person. I'm going to just apologize. I'm going to let it go. He actually has apologized to Michelle. This, it's documented. He has. She has not accepted it. So that's why I feel like they'll never be at a space where it could be copacetic. I don't see any hope for that. No.
Okay. Well, thank you for that, boo.
Absolutely.
That was Queen, you guys. We got Rumors and Tea. Hey, Rumors. Can you hear me, Rumors? Uh-oh. Rumors. I think it's something going. Uh-oh. Okay. She dropped. Let me bring in Regina.
Hey.
Hey, boo.
Oh my God, last night was like the Wild Wild West.
Baby, it was crazy last night. It was crazy. But what are your thoughts now?
So my thoughts now are, what I wanted to say last night was that The guy that was he didn't verbatim say that she was right, but his tone and his points were justification, which leads to implying that he was right. But anyhow, my point for Funky Dineva is that he definitely is being harassed by that lady.
Mm.
But I do agree with your commentary in the fact that at the end of the day, as a public figure, you are open to scrutiny. Even as a private citizen, like we
Yeah.
all talk about each other. People go on their social medias and they talk about each other every day. We don't like people, and that's just life. He has to get over it, because at the end of the day, he is very harsh in his commentary and sometimes unwarranted.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I don't understand why, as someone who is that type of person, why he can't take it. I also don't understand the whole concept of, oh, like, I'm a YouTuber, so I don't speak about other YouTubers. Like, why?
Mm.
If someone is a public figure and this is like a topic in the media, why can't you speak about it? Like, what is this fake respect or this fake, I don't know, reverence
Let
to
me add into
the
that. I
platform?
think that's one of those things that are a matter of preference. Some YouTubers choose not to speak about other YouTubers that they at least are in relationship to publicly. So if those figures, are headlining, they may like stray away just out of respect for
But
the.
he has spoken about other YouTubers. He's spoken about Armand. He's
Yeah,
spoken about Tasha. He's spoken about what's her name? The same Michelle person. Like, he has spoken about these people. So, and that just goes back to your point of, like, get over
Craig,
it.
the mistress, T.S. Madison.
The yeah, T.S.
Host.
Madison. He's spoken about all of these
Yeah.
people. So I'm
So he's
like,
a hypocrite.
pardon?
I said, so he's a hypocrite.
No, he is a hypocrite. And like, we all have some level of that, but like, he really comes off as he's so like better than people, and really you're not. And if people were more honest about that in themselves, they wouldn't get so flustered in moments like this, or
Yeah.
like, they wouldn't continue to prove us right about them. If they just came out and say, like, yeah, I'm a hypocrite, like, sometimes I mess up, whatever. But he acts specifically like he's so much more intelligent than anybody else. Like, he got his 3 degrees or whatever, and like, he's so much smarter. And it's like, you're not, like, you're a regular human being like everybody else, and you are very harsh. He's very harsh.
Yeah.
He's funny. I'm not saying that he's not a good person, but he's very harsh.
Yeah.
So, and there are people that he doesn't like either.
Yeah.
Like, the most recent one I remember is when he went in on Chloe Bailey for no reason. And honestly, after that, that really turned me off, because I felt like it was unwarranted. Does she do a lot? Yes. But was that necessary? Was it warranted? No. And I hate to say it, but like, a lot of these men do seem to have an issue with women, unproportionately. They're very hostile and harsh. So
And let me also say this. I find it also interesting that he took up issue with Tasha K being two-faced, but at the same time admitted that he's essentially in a two-faced relationship to Dr.
to
Heavenly.
Dr. Heavenly.
Like, it's like you, Dineva, you don't have your like internal compass like set at a solid angle. You will make space to be in relationship to a woman you publicly admitted does not respect queerness, does
Yeah.
not respect gay men, and you've confronted her about this again and again and again, and she's continued to be who she is, and yet you will sit your ass in a relationship to someone who's being labeled as a homophobe and
Yeah.
who continues to speak in these indignant ways about especially like effeminate queer men, but yet
Yeah.
you ready to slap the fuck out of Tasha K for being openly fake. So it just seems like he has a preference of like, I'd rather be in a covert fake relationship than an overt fake relationship, but nonetheless you're in fake relationships.
I will say about that, I feel like we all make concessions for people we like, but at the core, I think that's the thing. Like, the core of it, you like, where's your moral compass? Like, what is your boundary? Because I would like to know, what does Heavenly specifically do for him that would make him align himself as somebody who fundamentally does not like who you are. Like that's so problematic and strange.
I think for the same reason that he eventually caved to the pressure to be amicable with Tasha K. Clout is what all of these women happen to have in common.
But what can Dr. Heavenly give to him that he hasn't already amassed?
This clout in this industry is all about just maintaining as many high profile relationships as possible, because it just helps to sustain and elevate the social equity around you. So it's all about connection. So the fact that she is a star on a hit show, you know, and she's plugged into the industry too, and you know, they're all running the same circles. He wants to keep that door of opportunity wide open, because he never know when, you know, she may want to bring him into a scene and he get a Bravo check, or when, you know, it's like you always just, all of the relationships in the industry are transactional and shallow.
But why not just be honest about that? Because he always comes across like, oh, like I don't have time for this. Like I'm bigger than this. Like if you're also fake, why can't you just be honest about that? Like he acts like he's so real. Like he's so real. He's this truth teller. You know, like everything he says, he always wants to preface by saying that, you know, people are gonna get upset and he doesn't care.
Yeah.
But you do care.
You do, yeah, very much.
You do. So I just feel like just be honest, you know, and I don't think for me, I don't judge him or anyone else harshly because we're all human, but I just feel like you need to have a standard. Like,
absolutely,
don't say you're one thing and then do something else. Yes, people are allowed to change their minds, but if you say that you're fundamentally this person, then how can you revert on that so easily? How can you push that aside so easily? That's strange.
Like I said, a lot of these content creators are traumatized children cosplaying as influencers. They all are actually an internal mess. And that's why all of the relationships are messy as fuck.
Yeah, there's always a fallout.
Yes. Well, thank you for that, Regina.
Thank you so much. Okay.
That was our Regina, y'all. Rumors and tea. Hey, boo. Sound off.
Hey, Conscious, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Loud, live, and
okay. All right. Hey, crew, I want y'all to take a moment and thumbs up this video, and don't forget to lay your offerings at the throne of the King.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm really like taken aback at everybody's like, I don't know if it's disdain for Michelle in this situation with Funky. I've never really watched any of her commentary, so I don't even know what type of commentary she gives, and nor do I care. But from all that I understand, I just think people are very, very hypocritical when it comes to telling someone else when they should let something go and how to respond in their trauma. Like, I want people to really think about this and consider this. We know, because Funky has admitted that he was an addict. And if you've ever really dealt with someone while they were in their phase of addiction, then you would understand and know the mindset when it comes to them, how they move in their relationships to people, especially like the situation him and Michelle had with him being a tenant. I can imagine all that she experienced, and I'm not saying that she may have necessarily herself handled the situation in the most healthiest way in her responses to him. But I just think that there is a strong possibility that this woman, literally, when she thinks about him, she's triggered by the trauma of it all, and she just responds whatever way it is that she chooses to respond. And I don't think it's fair to tell a person when to let go and move on from something. Of course, we all feel like at times we just wish people would let things go because we get tired of hearing it. But I feel like if y'all don't want to hear what she's saying about him, turn the fucking to another platform. You don't have to listen to it. But to sit back, because I find Funky to be very hypocritical in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like, to feel like oh, because he only wants her to move on from it because it's about him. Y'all like, oh, he apologized. Was his apology sincere? Because if his apology was sincere, then he wouldn't feel like, in my opinion, he wouldn't feel like let it go. Because he would understand, I hurt this woman that was my friend. I have apologized, but he would, the empathy he would have for her, he would understand. And he wouldn't feel like, leave it alone. Don't talk about it anymore. Only a person that is disingenuous responds in that way. When you are truly, truly sorry that you've done something to somebody that you had, like even under the guise of, I didn't mean to do that. I know I did it. I know I was in a fucked up space, but I didn't mean to do that. You're not upset and hurt about their response because you know that you've done something that hurt them. And all you want them to do is to forgive you and heal, but you're never going to try to rush that.
How do you feel about everybody saying it's not that she has a right to hold on to it? She's just vindictive and bitter. And is that a problem for somebody to be?
And half of the people that feel, how do I feel about people saying that? If everybody will be transparent in this moment, half of the people that's saying that have held a grudge against somebody. You literally don't fuck with somebody because of something that they've done, and you could have let it go, but you don't fuck with them right now to this day. I find people very like, and I can speak from this because I was the same way. So when you know better, you do better. You actually can see things that you could not see in your own self until you see yourself. When you hold that mirror up and you see yourself, and then you're able to see it in others clearly, and it just makes you more self-aware. And I think people are not self-aware, like you were saying earlier. We really do pick and choose what to like hold other people accountable for that we don't hold ourselves accountable for, and we trauma bond in a way that we try to justify. A lot of people are justifying Funky's, oh, he apologized. Do you know how many people apologize and it's insincere? We only know what he does publicly yet again. We don't know what goes on behind the scenes. And I'm going to stand on it. I don't think that it is fair. The same way I feel when people always feel like Monique, she need to let it go. She need to let it go. Who are you to tell someone else when to let go of their trauma and their pain? Even though 9 times out of 10, it is in their best interest, but you don't get to tell somebody, like a lot of y'all walking around hurt by a nigga from 20 years ago. And if you see that nigga walking down the street, he could be happily married, moved on, a whole nother family. You see him walking down the street and you ready to set his ass on fire. A lot of y'all walking around with relatives that you don't fuck with, and it's been over 30 years. So my point goes back to, you don't get to tell people how to respond in their trauma, when to let a grudge go, as if you're doing the same thing. Like, I just don't think that it's cool. Mm-hmm. I think things are a process for people. Would it be in her best interest to move forward and let it go? I just think that these are two people that really, really loved and cared about each other. And neither one of them have done to do the work, because this to me is bigger than just what happened between the two of them. There is some trauma that has occurred in their life that they have not healed from. So every time something of any traumatic experience that they have, they hold on to it like a dog with a bone. That's how they've learned to cope in life and manure in life. They don't know how to heal properly, move on, and come to a place of understanding. As you were saying, just because you really forgive a person does not mean that you have to have a relationship with that person.
Right.
And I think that that's what needs to be understood. The real process of healing is not about me putting my opinion onto a person on when they should, how their process should go, how long, putting a time stamp on the limit, the limit on how long things should be and things of that. Like, no, it just doesn't work that way. I don't think it's fair to judge her in that manner and make her the bad guy in the situation because he apologized. His apology damn sure must have not came off in a sincere manner. She knows him in a way that we don't know him. I don't think, I'm being honest, looking from things from the outside in, I don't think that if this man's apology was sincere, that this woman would still be hurt talking about it and making it like people really like, oh, she doing that for content or whatever. It's too much.
I was going to speak to that. I'm a stickler for saying that apologies are a art form, like everything else. Like a love is an art form. You can't really love somebody without understanding their love language. You have to know how they receive love and what they view as love in order to convince them that they are being loved by you. I think the same thing with an apology, which I think Funky Dineva would fail at making an apology because he has made several apologies to people's points. I've seen a few of those apologies. I wouldn't consider them to have been nuanced apologies, but they were apologies. But I think to be effective at the apology would have to start at him and Michelle having a private and personal conversation, because I think in order to really be able to speak to the wounds that you put in someone, they have to be willing to articulate what those wounds are exactly, how, in what ways they were impacted, so that you have the opportunity to claim it all. You have an opportunity to speak into the totality of the impact of one's actions. You can't really do that without a conversation and without information. So I think if there were going to be an attempt to apologize, it doesn't need to be him hitting the live button and saying, hey, Michelle, I apologize, girl. I apologize. Da, da, da. I think they need to have a talk. She's open to that. And he and her need to have a very transparent conversation that is very reciprocal, where they both can really give their lived experiences of each other, and then they can speak to that. And then if they work through that successfully in a private conversation, then they can bring the results of that conversation to the public and make it right there. And then if they choose to go off their separate ways, then, that's what they do. So I think if they were going to do it, that probably would be the most effective way for them to execute that.
I can agree. I just don't feel like his apology pertaining to her specifically. I don't feel like it was sincere. Like,
Yeah.
you have people that, I think it was just a point of him wanting her to stop talking about him. That makes it disingenuous, because that takes what, like you said, that you're not acknowledging and taking the real accountability. Like, I actually did something fucked up to you. And then for those that feel like, oh, he paid. There's a difference when you're garnished versus you actually paying. You're not paying when you're garnished. It's being extracted from you. So that's a whole nother slap in the face as well. There's just a lot of hurt there. I think the situation between him and Tasha is just really stupid, petty, immature, and childish. And they I'm not gonna say that Tasha doesn't need to get, she needs severe, like she needs to be studied. Like, she's a whole different type of character and case. But I think that in him, he needs to take the accountability of him constantly putting himself in a situation where she can affect him. He just should not be affected by her in the way that he is. I really, actually, when you put that picture up there, the bathroom picture, I feel like now he knew that I'm going to load this. It's like almost like he was baiting somebody so that he can have some type of viral beef going on or something. Because there's no way that he posted that picture and did not think that, like, maybe not her or anybody that, wouldn't have commentary on it. There's no way that he thought nobody was going to respond and make some type of criticism about that picture. Like, and what was the point? I mean, he has the right to upload whatever he wants, but what was the point of that without thinking that someone was going to say something? Like, I feel like he baited this, like that was bait.
I mean, I think, as I said, he was stupid for letting his goddamn guard down. Like, you already knew the woman was a snake. You already knew what it gave. You let her wear you down at that wedding. And then because y'all had, shook hands on a agreement to keep it cute, you then develop an expectation as a result of making another deal with the devil. And then when she dragged you for your doo-doo stained baseboards, you were gaslit all over again, because what you're really telling yourself is that I'm stupid for being in this position again. I'm stupid for giving her a chance again. And because Funky Dineva don't have no emotional intelligence, he didn't know to hold himself more accountable for what he got himself into with Tasha, more so than him deflecting burden onto her. And he really just needs to take responsibility, and he needs to mean what he says. And if he truly feels violated by someone and he knows that they are untrustworthy, you don't need to rationalize proximity to them ever again. It's your job to respect your own boundaries, to respect your own NO, and to stay the fuck away from people who you know don't mean you well. And if you put yourself in a position to try to compartmentalize that person because maybe, okay, well, they're a celebrity, I'll try to hold on in part to get what I need out of them, but I know they're a fucked up ass person, but then you're trying to avoid being injured by the fucked up part of them and trying to benefit from the celebrity part of them, and then you end up fucked up by the personal part of them. All that is your problem for just compromising your soul goddamn salvation and continuing to rationalize your joy for your material ambition. And I know a lot of people be trying to have it both ways, but at the end of the day, people just got to make a choice. You either want to be happy and you want to be safe, and you want to be safe in the relationships that you're in, or you want to be famous, or you want to be materially successful. But a lot of times you kind of don't get to have both. Like if you're going to be on the chessboard, you just got to commit to playing the game, and you got to understand that it's a game. And you just got to maintain your awareness about that. If you want to be a real boy, a Pinocchio, then you got to be a real motherfucking boy. You know, you either got to be Humpty Dumpty, or, you know, but it's people be trying to have too many contradictory things all at one time. They be trying to have water and oil simultaneously and then be wondering why shit keeps imploding. Make a choice. Make a clean cut fucking a choice that covers your front end and your back end, and then burden yourself to commit to that. And you'll be fine. You'll literally be fine. You'll be fine.
Right.
You'll be fine.
Hey, Flame.
Hey, Flame. And thank you, boo. I'm going to get callers in. That was our Rumors and Tea, guys. Shout out to Flame and Row in the building. Let me bring up Laquita. Hey, Laquita. What's going on, sis? Sound off.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, love.
Hey, Conscious.
Hey, boo.
Conscious, first of all, let me start by saying, look, this is my first, I've never been on anybody's StreamYard. I've always like commented. I want to tell you how fine you are, okay?
Thank you. And you're welcome.
Conscious, you are so cute. You are so cute to me.
Don't flatter me, boo. Don't.
No. I'm sitting here with my girlfriend of 21 years.
Come on,
girl. And I tell her how I said, Dewanda, I said, her name is Dewanda. I said, Dewanda, I said, it's like you should have been a girl. And I don't mean that's not disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? You are just so pretty to me. You so fucking pretty. Excuse me, you effing pretty.
Thank you, baby.
But this is my first time being on anybody's stream, y'all. I started to leave the chat because I'm nervous about talking.
Don't be nervous.
Yeah. Okay.
I always advise everybody, don't look at the chat.
Yeah, Conscious. I know you.
Like it's a phone call.
And I know you get it everywhere you go. Anywhere, if don't nobody compliment you off your looks or whatever, they're just hating. They hating.
That part.
So
that part.
Yeah, you so cute. Oh my God, you are so handsome. You so handsome.
Thank you,
but okay. Now that's out the way because I got to pay respect. I got to wipe my feet before I come in your house. You hear me?
Thank you, love. God bless you.
Okay. I don't really know all the ins and outs of everything of everybody's life. I love hearing you. I love hearing Funky. I love hearing Michelle. Right? The thing is, no one can tell no one when or how to get over their hurt. And to speak further to what you said, yes, I think Funky and Michelle need to have a conversation behind the scene. I think you need to apologize to her privately and do it publicly to lay it to rest. You know, just privately and publicly. You know, what they discuss behind closed doors. Then he need to go and you know, and apologize. Will she accept that? I don't know, because they don't let it.
Yeah.
You don't let it fester. This, I think she's more hurt. You're more hurt when you consider that person as your friend. When you consider that person as your friend and you have love for them and they hurt you. And I'm speaking from experience because my girlfriend once was a substance abuse user. You know what I'm saying? And this bitch have hurt me, like I said, 21 years.
Yeah.
You hear me? You feel me?
Mm-hmm.
But look, hey, Conscious, hold on, off track. I heard you drag TK to. I've never heard her come back and say nothing, because I know, honey, that pink tornado in your mouth.
And she won't.
I never heard her. Conscious, let me tell you something. You had my stomach in knots. That's how weak I was. I said, this damn boy can read. Conscious, you can read. Oh my God.
Everybody knows that gay people superpowers is our mouth.
What?
All our life we had to fight.
What?
While our intellects and the way that we can weaponize that tongue and turn it into a sword.
Conscious, I've never heard her come back. I've never heard her say nothing slick about you. Like I've never subscribed to her. I've never commented. I've never liked. I never disliked a comment. I will listen. Man, that, you know, even though me clicking on it might can, you know, up her thing, but I've never heard. I've always wanted her to say something in regards to you, because I mean, you already done took a damn head off. I just want to see what other body parts you can dismantle up her. After this damn girl, I know she see what he be saying. She sees, she hears everything, but I've never heard her come back and say anything. I'm like, damn.
Tasha knows who to play with, for one, and Tasha, she knows who to sink her teeth into and who she can't sink her teeth into. Trust me, she's very aware of the pieces on the chessboard. Plus, Tasha is not a gagger and a roaster. That's why she only can resort to the extreme ad hominem attack. So she either gonna say you got HIV, or she gonna say that you are a pedophile, because she can't actually get up with you verbally. So, you know, she don't have enough versatility in order to really go and spar off verbally at all. So, you know, she's a loser, but God bless her.
Yes, Conscious, but okay. Funky held his tongue long enough.
Yeah.
Because TK comes at him like she messed with everybody.
Yeah.
And
she owns it at this point. So it's kind of like people just gotta, you know, people gotta know, you know, you in the lion's den, you know, and she ain't hiding her fangs or her mane at this point. So, like, you know, that's why I don't understand why Funky gave her a chance after already being betrayed by her, because she already done said, I'm not trustworthy, and if y'all deal with me, then I mean, you know, I'm thinking y'all gonna be okay with the way I get down. So we now got to burden him with believing that. Believe it. She said who she is. Believe it.
Right.
Believe it.
Okay. So when you have had your differences with YouTubers or bloggers or, you know, or whatever, whether it comes to them using your commentary, not giving you credit and all of that stuff, I've seen you, you know, go through it or whatever. So when enough is enough, like if you forgive a person, right? If anybody who have hurt you, whatever, in whatever form, and when you forgive them, how do they apologize to? How do a person apologize to you when they know they done you wrong? How do they apologize? Do they go behind the scenes? Do they?
I think it starts there. I think it starts with a personal reconciliation, so you can be clear about your actions, and so you can be clear about how that other person has been impacted by your actions. And I think, you know, then from there you go to the public. I think when people make a general apology abroad, I can understand why some people are not fulfilled by that. So technically, it's like, yeah, I can say you apologize, but it's a broad apology. It's like it doesn't really take full account to the fact that no, you portrayed me as a friend who cared about you. You stole out of my pocketbook, and even in your broad apology, it's like sometimes it feels like an escape that you're not nuancing it because you still like you don't want to look bad because you don't want to say, hey, I specifically apologize for stealing off your credit card, for defrauding you as a tenant, and
Right.
then for gaslighting you by forcing you to run behind me for years.
Right.
The court system to get your money back because I was too fucking indecent to
Yeah.
ever just pay that back willfully. And so while people in the comment section are saying, oh, it's been 10 years, but yeah, she had to spend years getting retribution. She had to spend years to even get the garnishment. She just got the garnishment, what, last year or year before last? So
Mhm.
you know, he equally dragged this out by evading accountability all this.
Right.
So I think, you know, apologizing, call somebody and, you know, allow them to make you the bad guy. Allow them to tell you how you hurt them, how you betrayed them, how you whatever. And if you're really there to be remorseful and to repair damage, take ownership of that and
Right.
let that be like what it is. You know, it's really kind of that simple.
Right. So would you want your apology behind the scenes and would you want it publicly as well to put this
Yeah.
to bed?
I only would want the apology publicly if the offenses were public. If the falling out was private, if the offenses were private, then we can keep it private. It's no need to involve the public in the fodder. But if the offenses were public, then yes, I think it's fair to also require things to be made right and corrected publicly for sure.
That's right. So I think it need to be done
Yeah.
behind the scenes and what they did. And if she's willing to record the conversation, I mean, that's up to her. But he needs to do it privately and he needs to do it publicly and mean it from the heart because he did her dirty. And I like them both.
Yeah.
I like them both. TK, I don't mess with.
Yeah, on fool with
I,
her.
no, no. Whatsoever. I never liked it. Like I said, I never liked the comment. I never chatted in a comment. I've never disliked the comment. What I am guilty of clicking on her videos and being nosy and listening to it. You know, I have. And because I just be wanting, especially after you done dragged her, I'm like, I'm gonna see what this beef say. Just to see if she gonna say. And I've never heard her saying anything, not nothing. Like she not be like not in the slickest way, nothing.
Because she know that I'm not done, and she know that I'm the only one who can get her all the way efficiently together. So I amputated one limb. She know that I'm willing to amputate another limb.
Like you get this girl body blow. Oh my god! And the shit you be saying, I'm like, this nigga is funky. I mean, conscious. You funny as fuck, yo. You got the wrong car. You need to be a comedian. I'm sorry. Something you did. What you're doing, you do great. You do well. But yo, that pink tornado, man. You, ooh. But anyway. That's it. I ain't had nothing to say. I just want to see was I gonna be brave enough to come up here.
And you was shy, so congratulations, baby. And
all right, then you still pretty. You just as pretty as you can be. Okay, you take care, sweetheart.
And you do the same. That was recorded. We got so many sweet supporters. I love my Conscious crew members. What's going on, Aaron?
Hey, Conscious. Hey, how you?
I'm great. How are you? Sound off, boo, because now I'm on borrowed time.
Okay. Well, I just wanted to say, with Funky, I can admit I was wrong and I didn't quite know this whole situation. From what I heard from him, watching him over the years, I thought, from my understanding, that his dad had died, and that he said that I guess Michelle had took him to court to get his money, and then I think he said when his dad died that he didn't make it to court, and that the court settled in her favor. So I would agree with he owes her things and run her things. Like if you did that to that lady's property, which I'm not quite aware of and I don't know, and that he doesn't seem like the type of person that would be, dirty or live in the type of filth. I don't know, but just
Yeah, you
run
saw
her
the
thing.
picture I showed of his room.
Oh,
Allegedly.
with the dogs on there. Is
Yeah,
that the new room, or is that
that's
the
the new.
at the?
It's the new room, and it's already dog shit on the new $5,000 couches.
Oh yeah, no, see, no. But I mean, I would just say like run her things, but also going back to like I think both of them are hurt, and I think like how you said, conscious. Like
Mhm, mhm.
I think in a way I don't know, like he's apologizing. I've heard him apologize, but also I believe Michelle and him had a very close
For
friendship,
sure,
and they loved each other.
for
And
sure.
I believe like he hurt her to like to a very deep degree.
Yeah.
But also, I will say this that what I don't appreciate about Funky and what I will agree with Rumors and
Mhm.
T with when she said that you can't tell somebody when to get over certain things
Yeah.
because I love Funky, but Funky is hypocritical in some of his viewpoints when
Mm.
he says the point of like with like Rumors and T was saying about Monique.
Yeah.
Everybody loves to say Monique need to get over it. Monique need to get over it. Okay, cool. Dan Funky says that I don't know what his disdain for Monique is, but Dineva always has a saying. He says, "You either gonna pay me on the front end or you're gonna pay me on the back end, but you're gonna pay." And he always loves to say, "Pay me for my pain. Pay that person for my pain." But then when it comes to Monique, he can breaks down every other person or every other celebrity where I guess like in the public they're going through just industry issues or payment issues. He can find the silver lining with that and be
Yeah.
like run that lady her things, pay her things, pay that person for their pain. But when it comes to Monique, she needs to get over it. She needs to stop talking about it. And I that's where I don't see the growth in Funky because it's like he does be hypocritical with some of his viewpoints. It's like, okay, it's either pay that person for their pain or running them coins or like it's just I don't know. He doesn't in some retrospect, it seems like he doesn't practice what he preaches, sort of say. So that's all I really wanted to
Yeah.
say. And yeah.
Okay, Aaron. Thank you so much, boo.
Thank you, Conscious.
Thank you, baby. Jonathan, the head funky bunch in charge. Hey, John.
Oh, hey, don't put that title on me. I'm a proud longtime member of the Funky Bunch, but I do not claim rank in that one. I am a rank in the Matty Box. Thank you.
Oh, period. Okay, so sound out because a lot has happened, Jonathan. I even
I
called
know, and I
I
missed
said,
this
let me
last
call Jonathan. I don't know if you saw last night's live stream with Michelle and all that. So what you think now, given
First of
what
all,
has so far played out?
I don't go to their pages. I ain't never watched the video that Michelle has done. The only thing I have ever viewed of Michelle's, and maybe it was a video because again, it's been over 10 years. So first off, I want to say, I have missed the last hour of commentary because I was in a therapy appointment trying to deal with my own demons.
Yeah.
Amen. So forgive me if we are backtracking a little bit and I am being a funky apologist based on information that has now come to light that I am not aware of, like that credit card stuff she's claiming.
Now, that's not the first time that I've heard that. She also been saying that for a long time too.
Yeah, but that's the first time I've ever heard anybody bring that up because I don't watch her.
Right.
She might have been saying all that from the because
she been saying it.
Because here's the thing. I knew about, so like I said, I've followed him for a very long time back to when he had that written blog. I used to read that in high school. Yeah. Now, when him and Michelle fell out, and you can correct me if I'm incorrect in this statement, they had their little issue. Funky's father had died. Funky got real behind on his bills.
Apparently, it was his mother, not his father.
Oh, so it was his mother. Okay, see, I thought it was his mom. So his mom
according
died.
to Darius in the chat, it was his mom.
He was struggling. He was struggling with her death.
Yeah.
He probably was dipping and dabbling, like Let's be real. He probably was on a little bit of drugs at the time. He's admitted that he had done them before. He didn't want to admit it in the moment.
He even admitted recently in the live, like live last week or week before last, that he even has done what's is it fentanyl? He's also tried
ketamine.
Yeah.
Did he say ketamine? I think he said ketamine.
Look, ketamine.
But you know what? At least
his nose has been around baby.
The one thing he's not been hypocritical about is saying it is about being honest about his drug use. He ain't never denied that he ain't never done no drugs. He ain't never tried to sit up here and tell us that he ain't never did no drugs.
But what he has denied, and I think this is where him and maybe some of the people that know him kind of they disagree, is he has not really owned being an addict. And there are people who
you know what, that's a fair point. But you know what, a lot of people would not consider, a lot of people in his situation that have never been to a point where they have lost everything because of that. And granted, he's lost a lot because of that,
right? But
he's never been down so bad that he's lost everything. Some people would not consider themselves an addict,
right?
Because they ain't got to that point, or because they ain't do it every day. He might have done drugs on the weekend only, but he didn't do them every day, so therefore he didn't consider himself an addict. Now back to
I would just say this, because I can definitely understand like the complications with semantics around like the word addict. You know, is a person an addict, not an addict? Because as you just said, people can do drugs and be functional. People can be high functional and on drugs, all the kind of shit. I would say this though.
We would categorize him as a high functional.
I would say this though, as a way to just kind of create a line of demarcation. If your usage puts you in a position to lose jobs and or to steal and or to compromise personal relationships, at the very least, you had a problem.
Okay. Yeah, no, and that's true.
Not an addict, at least at the very least.
And I feel like he's joked about having an alcoholic problem before, and I feel like at certain times he might have joked about having a drug problem. But has he been transparent enough to say, yes, I definitely would consider myself to having an issue with substances? No. And you're right. That's where it is a little bit hypocritical, and that's where he really need to cut it and keep it cute, because you can't. It wasn't remember when Kaya said, talking about he was snorting cocaine in front of her?
Yes.
And remember, his issue was not the fact that she said he did it. His issue was really about the fact that she said he did it on a bar in front of her. And he said, now I might have done it.
She claimed he did it.
But I never did it where you said I did it. So it's always usually the semantics with him. But back to the Michelle stuff.
Yeah.
If memory serves me correct, his mom died, his money got funny, his bills got real backed up, and according to the way that he told the story, he was getting those eviction notices, and he was talking to her about it. And was saying, I'm gonna get caught up with you. I'm gonna get caught up with you. I'm gonna get caught up with you. And she was like, okay, cool. And then the eviction happened. And that's kind of where he was like, okay, well, fuck it. I don't want to be here no more. Anyways, like, that's cool. Whatever. But was it not her that put their issues out in the public before he responded and drug her into the grave?
To be honest, I'm not sure which came.
I remember, if my memory serves me correct, he was not the one that brought all of that to the public. If I remember correctly, she posted something. She posted something and posted this video. If I'm again, memory might serve me wrong, saying you need help. You done all this horrible stuff. Like, it's you. Was if my memory is not failing me, like, you have a problem. She was putting out that, he was on drugs. Like, she was showing the pictures of the place, like, with the dog, with the dog feet. And I remember looking at those pictures saying, okay, that don't look like just mountains of dog stuff. And granted, that it most likely the truth lies somewhere in between there. He probably did. There probably was dog doo.
I don't really. This is my thing, Jonathan. I don't understand Funky's obsession over the details. Dog shit or poop. I mean, at the end of the day, how the fuck is Michelle?
Because I don't know. You know, this is what people do. They want to debunk the shit. They want to debunk the shit by focusing in on the details.
But the reason why I say this is like the obsession over the details are a deflection. How is Michelle supposed to know the difference between smushed dog poop and smushed puppy child? I'm sure she ain't willing to put her nose close enough to really figure out what the fuck it is.
I mean, you're right.
Hold on. Because who in the hell would want to? At the end of the day, you knew you left a bitch's
house a mess. You knew you left it in a mess.
That's just a flat out the case. It was shit in the walls. It was food. It was substance. Whatever the fuck it was. It's not even necessary to, try to be like, well, it wasn't this. It wasn't that. It's like just either take responsibility for the shit. I don't. But
it's just like how he denied. He did, and that's the thing too. What disappoints me with him is the fact that he denied he kept that denial about stealing that washer and dryer.
Right.
For so many years,
right?
And then to just be like, you know what? I'm gonna come clean with it. I did steal. I did.
Okay, so hold on. So to hold that thought right there, this is now where we have a credibility issue because Funky claims to be the keeping it real, but then also is omitting facts. And
that was where I started taking his stuff with a grain of salt.
And this is what I mean by the gaslighting. And this is why I can see why Michelle has not been satisfied with the blanketed general apology that he's given, because it hasn't taken responsibility for the fact that you tried to psychologically fuck with me. You lied to the public. You lied on me. You lied on the situation. You forced me to drag you through the courts and take time out of my life to get back something to you. You wasn't decent enough to return back to me. And so him saying just in a matter of a fact way, I'm sorry, Michelle. I can see why somebody would say, fuck that, sorry. No.
And that's very fair. She doesn't have to accept his apology if he was willing to give her an apology. But at the end of the day, to bring it back on this, we can't forget that like Funky went after a lot of people back then in his blogs on Michelle's behalf. We can't deny the fact that Michelle was using him to get at the people that she didn't like at the time, like Sheree and all that shit down to Chateau Sheree that he did. That was Michelle. Michelle was the one that was pushing him to do that, to create that situation, because she had an issue with Sheree over what Bob had put out about her in the streets, which was that she stank. Funky was not the one. Funky was the one that brought it to the public. But that rumor about Michelle and her odor was going around Atlanta before Funky put it out in that video in response to her talking about the eviction and the way he left the apartment and that he was on drugs and that he stole my washer and dryer and all that stuff. Bob was the one that told everyone in Atlanta that she stank. Funky was the one that brought it to the public. So Michelle, so I'm saying, like, the thing is like some of that, in my opinion, is a little bit unfair and it's a little bit misguided, because it's like, Michelle, don't act like you were probably a good friend to him. Yeah, you let him live in your rental property. You did all these things for him. But don't act like you were just so innocent over here and you wasn't using him and manipulating him to get at the people that you wanted to get to. Don't act like that. Like, that's my thing. It's like she's not completely
I think it's hard, though. I think it's hard.
In all of this
I think it's hard though to quantify those type of things, because at the end of the day, Funky is a grown man. So
No, he
it's
is. He is. And I'm not trying to make it.
and we can see from Funky since his collapse relationship to Michelle, he hasn't turned into Mother Teresa. He's continued to be
No, he hasn't.
messy. The Claudia Jordan shit, the Armand shit, the Al Reynolds shit, the Fox Soul shit. So I can't really blame Michelle for anything that came out of him, because Funky has proven that independently he can be a hot ass destructive mess.
Oh
even
no,
without her.
No, he can. I guess what I'm saying is that it's not to absolve him of any of his actions or anything. I'm just saying what I don't like is the narrative that some of Michelle's supporters try to paint about him, and like people like Madison, is that they're just attacking her for no reason. They're just making up all these lies. Oh, they're just perpetuating falsenesses and untruth and all this stuff. And it's like, well, they didn't create that. They didn't create that whole. They weren't the ones that created that quote, quote, rumor that seems to be being confirmed by a lot of other people independently of just the two of them. But also, again, I don't think this whole thing between Michelle and Funky would have ever happened. I don't think he ever would have made that video going smooth the fuck off on her 10 years, 12 years ago. Actually, it was longer than that. It's been longer than a decade, because I was still in high school. I remember that when I was still in high school, or I had just graduated. So it's been longer than a decade. It's probably been closer to 15 years at this point, when this initially started with them. Again, he made that in response to her putting that out there on him. So I'm just wondering, okay, Michelle, in the long scheme of things, you're right. He left your place a mess. You're right. He owed you money. You're right. He stole your washer and dryer. You're absolutely right. He said horrible things about you that may or may not be true. You're absolutely right. But why did you feel like it was necessary to take those issues that were not known to the public at the time? If I'm remembering correctly, why did you decide to take that and put that in your out on Front Street for the public to have opinions on?
Because he did it. It's her story.
I guess. But the thing is then
it's kind of like the same reason why a lot of victims will come out after a initial victim comes out. Then everybody else who's also been abused. I mean, it just happens when you have unresolved conflict with someone, and then they are continuing to show up in your face. It could be via TV, it could be via algorithm, it could be via however they keep being reflected back to you, and you get triggered into saying, hey, yeah,
I guess I don't know. I guess, but it seems like to me that she did that.
At the end of the way, it's just no way for Funky to deflect from accountability in this situation. Right. In this situation,
he needs to own the part that he played in that.
In this situation where he's already admitted to lying about what he didn't do, because he admitted he did, and leaving a bunch of delinquent debt and all this betrayal behind him. I mean, at the end of the day,
I feel like he didn't pay her for all those years, because in some weird way, he felt like, well, since you put all this stuff out here about me,
it's wrong. It's immature and it's wrong.
No, it's not. It's not. It's immature. It is immature and it is wrong. And at some point, he should have just said,
because her roof over his head, because her roof over his head was objective. It wasn't a feeling. The money he stole allegedly was objective. It wasn't a feeling.
And that's funny too, because I don't remember that either. That's a new piece to me too, because I don't. And maybe she has been saying that. Maybe she has been saying for years on videos that he took her credit cards and ran it. But I'm also kind of like, I'm confused. Like, so he took your debit card and stole money out your bank? to buy drugs, or he stole your credit card to buy drugs?
Because card number. I guess he would take his phone and snap a picture of her credit card front and back.
Kind of like how Tasha K snapped that picture.
And go use her information online or whatever it was. So it's fucking deplorable, and it really shows.
No, it is. And if she's got the proof to show it, I mean, I can't argue that if she's got tangible proof to show that he took her information and went and made fraudulent purchases, like, you know, like the people say that Kim Kardashian did to Moesha's back in the day. But sorry, I'm trying to keep it light because this is a heavy subject.
It's really not heavy. It's like you have two people who've fallen out. One person objectively violated another person. Maybe the other person can be rightfully accused of also contributing to the breakdown of the relationship emotionally and psychologically. But at the end of the day, one person was physically violated via stolen from and defrauded, and the other person gaslight that person and forced them to be dragged through the court system and everything else, and then lied about the reality of what was happening, and has issued some general apologies. And it's now come to a head because it's come back up, and Michelle simply said, I'm willing to let it go if he takes responsibility. If he's interested in doing that, I think he should take my advice and call her personally first, and they really put the iron to their situation privately, where they can really unpack it and they can get into a genuine, transparent conversation. And then if they are successful at that, bring it to the public and then let it be over once. I mean, and then it's just on to
but also, yeah, and really close the book on.
My thing with Funky Diva is that him lying about everything that he did in that situation intentionally really does speak volumes about how menacing Funky Diva can be. And it's also very scary that someone of his magnitude can be this untruthful and intentionally psychologically abusive towards someone else. And the fact that he had people out here caping for him and defending him and kind of majoring in her reaction, but minoring in his gaslighting because they believe that he was a lot more innocent than what he was, only to reveal that he also weaponized his fan base and pulled a blind eye over them. I think a lot of people should have an issue with that, especially people who support the fuck out of him, because you really don't only played in her face, nigga. You played in ours too.
And don't get me
we
wrong.
Were out here gagging and roasting. I mean, I'm not saying like we as in we, but like you know, like the supporters were out here gagging and roasting on behalf of half-ass truths by him. Like there does need to be accountability for that, and he is a piece of shit for doing that because it wasn't necessary. Like you knew what the truth was, you should have fucking made it right. You had money coming in every which way direction, and then you still dragged this woman through the court system, and then you wondering why she mad as hell. You wondering why she gonna remind you, bitch, of who you are every time she get an opportunity, and like you confused? How? You know exactly how you did her. You know exactly all the games you played socially and publicly. And see, I don't want to connect T.S. Madison to this because I also feel like that's a way to deflect from the specific situation between Michelle and Funky.
And I was going to bring that up too, but I didn't want to connect it.
People, we're isolating a breakdown between the two people that had a friendship.
Specifically that.
All of this breakdown has been around Funky. It's just wrong.
I know.
I don't know how else to cut.
I guess I'm just trying to say, I'm trying to be devil's advocate, but also without not acknowledging where he has clearly been proven to been lying about certain things. But I'm not going to take her versions of the events as gospel, when we also know that Michelle is not truthful about everything either.
But what I'm saying is that this is not about like everything. It's about like
it's not about everything. It's about the facts that are actually true
like
that have been proven.
what she has confirmed, and it's about what he has admitted to, and then it also exposed what he was also lying about.
Yep.
I mean,
and that's true. And here's
I'm
the thing.
so glad that I'm not in a lot of y'all positions. I'm so glad I'm not fans, because like the way that y'all do have to, the way baby y'all have to ollie oop, and the way y'all have to, I'm so glad I don't be having to do none of that. I can just call some shit down straight down the middle.
You know what?
Baby.
It is hard. And I mean, it's the same thing. Like I can't uphold him in this for at this point. At this point, he should grow the fuck up, go to her privately and say, for the things that I lied about, I apologize. Whatever. Take accountability for the stuff that you want to take accountability for. If you don't want to sit here and apologize for everything, don't. And if she don't want to accept it that way, so, so be it. If for nothing else, if he don't want her talking about him anymore, that's truly what his goal is, then he will try to resolve it to the point where they both go their separate ways and they don't speak on each other anymore. And if he do, he do, and if he don't, he don't. And I ain't gonna feel no kind of way sorry the next time she brings out some stuff that may or may not be true. And he's got to sit there and refute.
People can have it all, but you do have, but you have to be clear. Like Michelle is messy. Michelle is petty. As I said earlier in this commentary, she jumped
and
all
she's a little obsessive. She's a little obsessive.
She jumped all in the middle of T.S. Madison and Kaya's situation. She gaslit and escalated the whole shit.
And got her feelings hurt.
We have watched her be antagonistic. We've watched her instigate altercations with other bloggers and then play the perpetual victim. All of that. But the thing that I can do that a lot of people can't do is I can compartmentalize all of that. See, we can talk about that and we can hold her accountable to that. We can also, when she's in a situation where she's a victim, also acknowledge that she's a victim in said given situation.
It's the broken clock adage, right?
It's not a one over the other. It's not like Michelle has
broken clock
all bad. It's not that Funky Dineva has to be all bad. It's not that anybody has to be all good.
No.
You just have to be clear about slicing up the pie and making sure that you are going from situation to situation instead of trying to pledge allegiance to the entirety of the person.
Yep. And I think that is what anyone who truly professes to be fair and neutral about stuff can see. I mean, shoot. I guess I'm gonna put it to. I guess I'll liken it to the broken clock adage. Michelle is right 2 times a day when it comes to certain things, and then she's wrong for the rest of it. Funky on the same side when it comes to their issues. He's right 2 times out of the day, and he's wrong about the rest of it.
Larry says that Funky gave them both. Well, Larry, if you believe that a gay man should have the right to slap a black woman because she's fake, then hey, I mean, hey, there's a crew for that.
I didn't necessarily want to touch on that one, but because that was a very heated discussion we were having.
I don't think that no nigga on the internet needs to be threatening a woman with physical violence.
And I'm gonna say what I said last night. It wasn't a good look. It was not a good look.
Of course, not only isn't it a good look, it's just flat out abusive and DV-ish and just out of order.
Yeah.
Why would you escalate a situation of physical violence over the fact that somebody's fake?
Because unfortunately society as a whole is emotionally immature and they can't handle being talked to any type of way. So their immediate thing is to go to violence. I've had these situations happen.
And I'm surprised that I'm surprised that Larry is saying that Funky Dineva gave them both, when Larry, you was the one who sat on my platform last year and said that the door is still open to her for all that she's done to you. So make it make sense. She either deserves to be slapped or she deserves to be a friend.
Can I ask? Do you think that there is any shred of truth to Tasha's version of their interactions?
I don't know. All I know is that
I just feel like, here's the thing. At this point, I feel like Tasha just lies about everything because she don't want to take
Tasha at face value. I ain't about to try to unpack all Tasha K shit, but that's why I reported it as take it for what you will. I mean, I can't get into whether it's true or not, but I would not be surprised. What we know happened is that they both basically did agree that
to try and keep it cute,
that they had a agreement. So, and it was broken by her dragging his baseboards, which is not enough of a reason to slap a bitch in her face.
No, it's not. It definitely isn't enough of a reason for any of that. But it's funny to me. It's funny to me, like, why that triggered him so badly.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you posted the photo making fun of yourself for overindulging in your rich food lifestyle. And and your followers were getting on your case about your behaviors and, and the end results of that, which was having you down to the bathroom, gripping the walls. But her reposting that and making a comment about your baseboards led to this, huh?
Low emotional intelligence.
I mean, in the moment, Conscious, I'm not gonna lie, I was fully here for all of it.
Emotional intelligence.
But now that I take a moment to actually really hear what triggered it and the context of why and the context of it, I'm kind of scratching my head like, you did that.
And I gotta get out of here. So
okay.
Are you complete? Anything else that you want to add to the?
No, I mean, at the end of the day, I really hope we don't have to keep going with this. I really don't, because I prefer, like, I feel like a lot of the fandoms in itself, like, I feel like we're just tired of this. Like,
I don't know why Larry Reed is a revisionist historian. He's another revisionist historian. Larry, it was not years ago. If that live stream wasn't last year, it was the year before for sure. Matter of fact, I want to say it was definitely last year. It might have been at the earlier part of the year. So this wasn't no years ago, sir. So just like you sat on my platform and you justified why you would put it all past y'all and why you would, even with all that she did, you would still, you should be going and preaching that to Funky Dineva instead of encouraging him to slap the fuck out of her, because even you ain't even following. Even you ain't even following in that same attitude.
Here's the thing. I
don't know why you would be encouraging him to do something that even in your own psychology, you ain't even perpetuating against her. You should be encouraging her, sir.
I would hope
encouraging him to toe the line and encourage him to have higher consciousness and to just think of all of this as just shallow online fuck shit that should never bleed into an actual reality where everybody can still come back together again when it's all said and done. That should be the message.
That should be the message. I don't know about come back together again. I mean, I think it should be we resolve and we go our
That's
separate
what
ways.
Larry was preaching about his own attitude about Tasha. So
That's
I'm just
fair.
saying he should keep that same energy and not be a hypocrite and encourage Funky Dineva to do the same, because he's not even around here slapping the bitch. He's not even catching a charge for her. He's not even willing to sue her. So why encourage him to jump into an orange jumpsuit over Funky Dineva letting his guard down? Funky Dineva is stupid for entertaining Tasha K. He ollie-ooped his damn self after he had already done called her ass
Yeah,
out.
I'm with you on that one. Like, I don't like, he could have just left it with the Michelle stuff and kept it moving. He didn't need to bring her into that. He really, really didn't. But
I think it's weird that y'all as men
caught him on a bad day, I guess. She caught him on a bad day. Some days, Conscious, we wake up and we choose violence, unfortunately.
No.
And it don't make no sense why.
Well, I think it's really weird that Black men are literally supporting men putting their hands on women in non-violent situations. I don't.
And as a non-Black man, I can't speak to that.
And as men, period, it's weird as hell. So thank you for
I only believe in self-defense and self-defense against man, woman, or child.
If you can't take the heat, stay the fuck out the kitchen. Thank you, Jonathan. If you are a content creator and you're in this space and you can't take being talked about, you need to stay out of the kitchen. This is for the big dogs. Being a public figure is not for the faint of heart. And no, you don't have a right to slap bitches for talking about you. No, you don't have a right to assault people for putting you on the same end of the stick that you put them on every day as a commentator. And we're all commentators. Someone any day can wake up and want to slap the fuck out of us, shoot our cars up, etc. We thought it was deplorable when that pastor allegedly had his goons flatten the tires of Larry's Cadillac. We didn't think that that was kosher or correct because somebody on your ass about the truth, or because your ass is being spoken about in a way that you don't like, that you get to destroy someone else's property. You get to use intimidation tactics. So just like we didn't stand for what those goons did to the tires of Larry's vehicle a few years ago, we wouldn't stand for Tasha K being slapped upside her motherfucking face as a result of somebody else's commentary or attitude. Now, if Tasha K poses an actual safety risk to Funky and she's doing things that objectively injure him, then that's one thing. But a bitch getting on your nerve, yeah, sorry, it's a no-go for me. But we're out of here, you guys. This was amazing. Thank you for another amazing town hall. I have to go and get my pussy ate. I am late for my man's mustache. If you guys enjoyed yourself, please thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Share, 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 share. Also, honey, show some love to the Odyssey, piece of Cash App, Child, and or PayPal. You can paypal.me/Consciouztv and or you can $ Consciouztv. Thank you so much, baby mother Laquita, for the old nasty child support. And thank you to my baby father Wade and my baby mother Alexa and my baby mother Rita for the old dancey child support. Child, I love y'all. We'll definitely be back tomorrow. It's a lot of things to get into. Make sure y'all subscribe, tell a friend of a friend of a friend, girl. We've been busting it down over her. Stay cool and don't let no bitch's mouth catch you with charge, girl. Don't y'all listen to Larry, baby, and let him encourage y'all to get into trouble. His ass ain't gonna even get into his damn self. Bye, y'all.